Hello everyone. We're going to take the next step with our drum sample tutorial by using a website called Twisted Wave, which is a completely free online audio editor, and we're going to chop our samples to the perfect one-shot sample length so we can use them in a music project. So I have the website up right here. The link will also be listed on the assignment for my students. We're going to click online. So you can see right here an audio editor in a browser. The way I usually do it is click upload a file right here. And in my downloads folder, I actually made a folder just for these samples. And I think that's a really good idea at this point because we're going to be making a few different edits of these samples and you're going to want to be able to keep them organized. So I'm going to start with kick 1, which I did label a little bit differently than my other samples. I think I'm actually going to use more of this format going forward. I don't think you need to put your name on it at this time. So just the name of the drum and then 1.1, just to make it a little more simple. So I'm opening kick 1. It's going to say pop-up was blocked. If you press OK, then it will open anyway. And then it's going to say too many channels. So this isn't something that we really need to worry about because we want our drum samples in mono and not stereo. This can be a little bit hard to explain if you're not hearing it. Depending on your headphones or speakers, you may not hear kind of stereo sound changes. Generally, mono is considered like the center of the channel, and when sounds are in stereo, they're coming through both ears, kind of like a mirror image of the sound. So it tends to be louder and kind of wider in sound, and percussive sounds are better if they're a little more narrow, so they're not just covering up everything. So we're going to click cancel. This is fine. So you can see here we have our sound wave. Up top, this is a viewfinder, and here is where we're going to actually make our edits. So what we want to try to do is isolate just that sound. So I'm going to do kind of just like a rough cut right here and press Control K to crop. So now that's a little bit smaller, I can see it a little easier, and I can get just really as close to the start of that as possible. And you want to leave a little bit of silence at the end. If you cut it off too short, there can be some pops and crackles, so don't do that. Again, Control K to crop, and let's listen to what it sounds like. Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. So I'm going to download that. I'm going to call it kick 1.1. Great. I'm going to try this also with the 808 sample, because I actually had a little bit of trouble with this. I had to redo it. So the original 808 that I had everyone make is actually a little bit too loud. So I realized when I put it through Twisted Wave, it just kept clipping. There were these pops and crackles. It was just too loud. So what you can do is actually there's a limiter inside WebSynths over in the volume section near the effects, and you can set a -6 on the limiter, and that'll just keep the sound from getting too loud, essentially. So that really cleared it up and made it sound great. I've also been using the built-in recorder on WebSynths instead of Chrome Audio Capture, and I think the recordings are actually coming out a little better. So for the 808 sample, it is better if you use the built-in recorder with the limiter on. So same issue here. Now I've got my 808 sample. I'm going to click and drag to highlight it, Control K to crop, and you can also zoom in and use this to move around to really see like exactly what's happening with your sample. Sometimes it's hard to get just like a little piece like this if you're cropping the usual way, because usually you want to crop by highlighting the sound you want to keep and press Control K to crop. But you can also delete. So I want to try to get this like really close without cutting into my sample. And then I'm going to press edit and delete and crossfade. So it's going to cut out just that section. If I add a crossfade, then they'll kind of be like a blending in which is a helpful tool for other things, but not for us right now. So we're gonna set that to 0, click apply. So I should have a pretty good sample. Let's just make sure I didn't cut out too much of that. Cool, yeah, still sounds great. So I've got my 808 bass, no pops or crackles or anything like that because I set that limiter on. Now it sounds perfect, so I'm going to download it, and I'm going to keep following the previous format of just the name of the sound and 1.1. So go through that same process. Do that for your closed hi-hat, open hi-hat, and snare drum. And next, we will import those sounds into Soundtrap and add some of the processing and effects that come with the program. So, see you all next time. Thanks.